From the rigid formations of the early 20th century to the fluid, high-pressing systems of modern football, tactics have constantly evolved, revolutionized, and redefined the beautiful game. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the tactical history of football. We'll look at how formations and strategies have shifted through the years, from the birthplace of football tactics and the WM formation to the defensive catenaccio of Italy, transitioning to the attacking brilliance of the Dutch total football, and the pressing revolutions brought to life by Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. Let's kick off and explore the rich history and evolution of football tactics and discover how they've shaped the game we love. In the early days of football, there were no complex strategies or set formations, just chaos and basic principles. Back in the 19th century, football was a lot more free-flowing. The game was first introduced in England in 1863, and the tactics were rudimentary. Teams played in what was essentially a 2-2-6 formation, a lot of attacking players with very few defenders. This was a time when football was more about raw energy than tactical discipline, but as the game spread across Europe, it didn't take long for teams to realise that structure could make a difference. By the 1880s and 1890s, the first formations began to emerge, and one of the most significant early developments was the pyramid system, a 2-3-5 formation. It was the norm in many countries for decades, but it was heavily biased towards attack, focusing on creating a high number of forwards to overwhelm the opposition's defence. But as football grew in popularity, so did the need for more sophisticated tactics. Enter the 1920s and the WM formation, invented by legendary manager Herbert Chapman of Arsenal. To create the WM, Chapman shifted the formation to a 3-2-2-3 setup. With this new formation, Chapman was able to create a tactical balance. The three defenders formed a solid back line, while the two half-backs in midfield offered both defensive cover and support for the attack. The wingers, now crucial in both defending and creating width, could stretch the opposition's defence. Up front, the forwards operated in a fluid attacking system, while the centre forward acted as the spearhead. The two outside forwards would often drift inside, creating space and making diagonal runs. This allowed for more dynamic movement and greater unpredictability. Despite its success, the WM formation wasn't perfect. As football evolved, it became apparent that the system had certain weaknesses, especially when facing more organised and defensive-minded teams. By the 1950s, the game was changing. Attacking play had become faster, more fluid. The problem? Defences were struggling to keep up with the speed of the attack. The WM, which had been a balanced formation, found itself increasingly outmatched against opponents who used far more intricate and creative attacking strategies. New innovations were emerging, and the WM's reliance on the deep-lying half-back line was leaving gaps in the defence. Teams needed a way to stay organised, absorb pressure, and strike when the moment was right. This is where the catenaccio comes in, a defensive system that would change the way football was played. Originating in Italy, catenaccio, which literally means bolt or lock in Italian, was based on a simple but devastating idea: lock down defence, then hit the opposition on the counter. While the WM had relied on balance, catenaccio was all about defence. It employed a sweeper known as libero, who played behind the central defenders, sweeping up any balls that got past them. This extra man allowed defenders to focus purely on their opponents, while the libero cleaned up any messes. In the early 1960s, one club epitomised the catenaccio philosophy: Inter Milan. Under legendary coach Heleno Herrera, Inter perfected the system, winning back-to-back European Cups in 1964 and 1965. Herrera's genius lay in organising his side to be nearly impenetrable while retaining the ability to launch lightning-fast counters. Inter's success inspired other Italian teams to adopt the system, making Catenaccio a hallmark of Serie A for years to come. It was a system that put immense pressure on attacking sides, forcing them to break down a defence that seemed insurmountable. As the years passed, Catenaccio's influence spread. Not only did it dominate Italian football, but also made waves in European competitions with teams like AC Milan and Juventus, and even small clubs using the system to neutralise more attacking styles of play. But while the Catenaccio was feared and respected, it also had its critics. The emphasis on defence led to less thrilling matches, with teams often opting for a more cautious approach rather than a thrilling, free-flowing football. With the rise of quicker, more dynamic counter-attacking teams, as well as the advent of tactical innovations, the ultra-defensive approach began to feel stale. Catenaccio, though still effective at times, but was now being seen by some as a defensive lockdown that lacked the freedom and flair of modern football. As Catenaccio was beginning to stagnate, something revolutionary was taking place in the Netherlands. Enter total football, an attacking, fluid style of play that would eventually challenge everything we knew about football. Total football wasn't just a formation, it was a philosophy. In its purest form, it was the idea that every player, from the goalkeeper to the forwards, could switch positions at any given moment. Attackers would defend, defenders would attack. The team operated as a unit with fluid movement and constant rotation. Johan Cruyff, the face of total football, was the mastermind behind this tactical revolution. Under the guidance of coach Rinus Michels, Ajax and the Dutch national team became the first major teams to embrace this all-encompassing style of play. In 1971, Ajax clinched their first European Cup, and by 1974, the Dutch national team, under Rinus Michels, made the world take notice at the FIFA World Cup. The Netherlands' attacking high-pressing fluid system was something the world had never seen before, and against the backdrop of Catenaccio, it was an eye-opening contrast. The Netherlands, led by Cruyff, played a style of football that emphasised ball possession, constant movement, and relentless pressing. It was free-flowing and creative, a stark departure from the rigid defensive walls of Catenaccio. Though the Netherlands fell short in the final against West Germany, their style had already made a lasting impression. Total football had arrived, and it was here to stay. Total football's influence remains one of the most significant legacies in football history. Its principles: fluid movement, positional interchange, and high pressing. Today, the spirit of total football lives on in the playing styles of teams like Barcelona, Man City, and even Bayern Munich. The core principles of total football, collective movement, possession, and fluidity, are now staples in modern football. But as with all great innovations, total football's influence began to wane. The game evolved. In the 1980s, it saw a rise in the defensive tactics once more. Teams focused on more structure, discipline, and control. The likes of Italian Catenaccio, the lock-and-key defensive system, became the norm. Defenders began to stay in their lines, and attacking football slowed down, with an emphasis on counter-attacks rather than fluid play. Total football's free-flowing style struggled against such tactical discipline. The dream of total football began to fade in the background as teams built their success on rigid, organised approaches. Then in the 2000s, a new system emerged, one that would reignite the beauty of possession. Tiki-Taka. Its birthplace, Barcelona. Its architect, Pep Guardiola. But at its core, it was a return to the same principles total football celebrated: fluidity, intelligence, and versatility. Tiki-Taka was less about individual brilliance and more about the collective harmony between players. It was short passes, triangles, and maintaining possession, all with the goal of suffocating the opposition's ability to get the ball. The likes of Xavi, Iniesta and Messi transformed football into a hypnotic dance of possession. The pitch was their stage, and they knew every inch of it. Guardiola's Barcelona dominated not just Spain, but Europe, winning multiple La Liga titles and the Champions League in 2009 and 2011. Tiki-Taka made every pass look purposeful. Every movement was calculated. It wasn't just possession, it was possession with a purpose. But football's evolution never stops. While Tiki-Taka ruled the mid-2010s, another tactical force was gathering momentum. Gegenpressing. The idea was simple: win the ball back quickly as possible after losing it. High presser, high intensity, and relentlessness. The system was perfected by Jurgen Klopp at Borussia Dortmund and later at Liverpool. The principle? Don't let the opposition breathe. Press high, attack quickly, and turn defense into attack in an instant. The result? A high-paced, high-energy game where every mistake from the opposition was punished. Klopp's Liverpool, with their swarming pressing style, became one of the most feared teams in Europe. And while Tiki-Taka sought to control the game through possession, Gegenpressing sought to control the game by denying your opponent the chance to play. It was the dawn of a new footballing era, one where intensity and work ethic were just as important as technical skill. Today, football isn't just defined by one single philosophy. It's a beautiful fusion of all that has come before. Teams now blend elements of Tiki-Taka, total football, and Gegenpressing into their strategies. Pep Guardiola's Man City, for example, combines the elegance of possession with the ruthlessness of a pressing game. Bayern Munich, under their former coach Hansi Flick, blended a lethal counter-attacking style with organised high pressing. Clubs like Manchester City under Pep Guardiola continue to refine Tiki-Taka, while teams like Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone prioritise a defensive, counter-attacking style known as Colosmo. Meanwhile, managers like Thomas Tuchel and Mauricio Pochettino use a more flexible, hybrid approach, adapting to the strengths of their players. The modern game is as tactical as it is exciting. It's no longer just about 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. It's about fluidity, adaptability, and finding the right balance between attack and defense. As we move forward, football tactics continue to evolve. With the rise of data analytics and technology, teams are increasingly relying on detailed analysis to gain a tactical edge. Possession remains key, but now it is complemented by smarter pressing, advanced formations, and tactical flexibility. Teams are more adaptable than ever, and the way football is played is constantly changing.
Corner comes in, it's a really good one, and it's in!
Football's tactical evolution is now a story of experimentation, adaptability, and innovation. The game we love continues to grow, and we can only imagine where the next generation of tactics will take us. From the days of the 2-3-5 formation to the tactical sophistication of the modern game, football has undergone a remarkable transformation. But one thing remains constant: the pursuit of victory through tactics, creativity, and teamwork. The beautiful game continues to evolve, and its future is exciting as ever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth football content. Until next time, keep enjoying the beautiful game.